Hello, my name is Adrian Wright. I'm CEO and founder of Estafet, and I'm here with Yoana. Hi, Yoana.
Hey everyone.
I'm going to introduce you briefly, Yoana, but first of all, our topic for today. Thank you everyone for listening and subscribing. Please press like and subscribe to our podcast. It's growing in numbers, and I thank you very much for listening and partaking. Estafet is an engineering group. We are delivering quite complex software projects, but and some of our discussions are both sort of educational, both for developers and for IT managers. But we do try to relate a lot of the podcast discussions to business and what's going on. Primarily, today we're going to be talking about the importance of Java, which may come across as quite a dry subject, but it is something that is absolutely critical to the way you run your business and the way you approach IT. And Yoana is going to sort of discuss some of those details. Let me tell you a little bit about Estafet. First of all, Estafet are a software delivery firm. We're based in the UK and Bulgaria. We are slightly younger than Java, actually. We've been going 22 years, whilst Java is nearly 30 years old, but we are a big part of this movement. And I think it's fair to say that we are experts in the delivery of software applications using Java. We have both UK consultants and our delivery team in Bulgaria, of which Yoana is one of our consultants. Yoana's expertise will be across many languages, but Java in particular, and I do regard her as a particular expert. And she has written a paper that we are going to be discussing called The Importance of Upgrading Java, a Comprehensive Guide, which you will have a link to and you can read in detail. But we're going to sort of summarize that now. So Yoana, please give us a brief introduction to yourself and a little bit about your role.
Yeah, sure. My name is Yoana and I'm a software developer here at Estafet. And I've been with Estafet for a little over half a year now, closing in on 2 years soon. In total, though, I think I've been in IT for about 10 years now. I've worked in different domains. I've had different roles. I've used a lot of different technologies and programming languages, including front-end, because I'm a full stacker at heart. And as a matter of fact, I'm currently doing some React, but out of all of the languages I've worked with, Java has stuck with me the most. This is the one I have most experience with. And yeah, I'm happy to be here to talk about Java. Always a pleasure to talk about Java.
Great, thanks, Yoana. I can feel your passion coming through already about the language. Let's just give a bit of background about Java, first of all, before we go into it, just to make sure people understand the significance of it. Java was created nearly 30 years ago and developed by Sun Microsystems. It's currently owned by the Oracle Corporation at the moment. They obviously acquired Sun Microsystems, I think back quite a while ago now. Was it
2010, yeah. Or 9.
The first thing I remember really about Java was this sort of quite important factor, which was the write once and run anywhere. Yoana, is that the same for you? Is that something in terms of the history of Java?
Yes, absolutely. This is kind of what Java was advertised with back in the day. You write an application and you don't have to worry about where you are going to run it, as opposed to languages like C++, when you need to compile your application and you absolutely need to know where you are going to run it, because the same binary is not going to work on a different system potentially. So yeah, Java with their concept of the JVM, the Java Virtual Machine, they have basically solved that problem, and you absolutely write once and you can run your Java program anywhere. That was a big thing back then. And also, I would say Java programs were kind of Docker ready before Docker even existed, kind of working on that concept, like having a virtual machine where you can run your program.
It was fantastic. And I remember people, talking about running applications on fridges and devices and IoT and all that sort of thing. And people were laughing about it. But that was in 1995, right? The first official release of Java, release 1. What are we on now, Yoana? What release number are we on?
The latest long-term support release is Java 21. It came out last September. The next major version is coming up in March. So developers and anyone who's listening, keep your eyes open because that's coming.
So that's 30. Well, next year will be 30 years since Java 1 was released. That's incredible. And, it's now at a state where it's got to be, one of the most popular development languages across the globe. Is that, would you say that's right? Or?
Yes, absolutely. And still going strong, I would say. If you look at any surveys online, you will see Java among the top used programming languages. I think this is because Java is very appropriate for both large enterprises and small startups. You can even, you go to university and what do you learn? You learn Java. It's very welcoming to beginners. You can do a startup with Java, and you can work at an enterprise where Java has been used for many, many years, and it's proven itself to be a very, very reliable technology that can be used across many, many domains.
So let's talk about Java currently in the enterprise and also being used by SMEs out there. We'll come on to some of the studies that you've referenced in your paper in terms of the version that companies are using out there, which I found really fascinating. But let's just start with a generic question. So I am a business owner, or I am an IT manager or a program manager, a VP, and I have responsibility for an application that's running Java. Why should I be concerned or be bothered at all as to what version I'm running?
You should be, because in this dynamic IT landscape, as you can see, technologies are evolving constantly. New programming languages are being developed, new frameworks, new libraries. These things come up because they want to make the development job easier. They want to add new features that you can take advantage of. Technologies also keep updating because, as we can see, there are constantly CVEs coming up and security threats that you need to be on top of them always. You need to be prepared for any attacks. And you absolutely should be concerned with what version of Java you are running, because Java, as with any other technology, is also undergoing changes. Yes, it's been almost 30 years, but since then, the OpenJDK and the teams at Oracle have been working on Java, and with each new version, you will get new features, performance upgrades, security fixes as well, which is very important in today's market.
So let's thank you for that. Let's break that down a bit, because as soon as you mention security issues, first of all, you've got concerns over compliance, because you could be non-compliant, you could be placing your business at risk, but also you do expose your company and your applications, and you are vulnerable. But can you give me a little detail about that? What if I'm still using an early version of Java, what sort of security issues would I be worried about?
So basically any sort, because CVEs come up all the time, and they are exploiting different vulnerabilities that people may not know that they exist yet. My favorite example for this is the Log4j security vulnerability from the end of 2021, which was basically, it was a zero-day vulnerability. It was reported, and there was no fix for it, which is very dangerous. 10 out of 10 ranked, which is the highest security threat level. And if you remember, this vulnerability, under the right circumstances, basically allowed hackers or malicious actors to execute any arbitrary piece of code on your production machine, like ransomware, get access to your data, basically mess your system up, if under the right circumstances, of course. So if you were actually looking at the events as they unfolded, it was a very dynamic week back in December 2021. But as events unfolded, the Java community was trying to find out how you can reduce your risks while the Log4j team is working on a patch. And if I remember correctly, one of the things that was mentioned was if you are running a newer Java version, you are actually less susceptible to the vulnerability. I think the attack vector was you would still be vulnerable, but through other attack vectors. But at least the security hole was a bit smaller than the initial ones, in which customers and businesses who are running an earlier version of Java.
That's really interesting. I mean, that is a big wow in some respects, because if I'm in a bank or anywhere, retailer, anybody, the version of Java I should really know and understand. As an IT manager, I should really understand what version I'm on and therefore what risk I'm taking. So it's a great question to ask and have and put a plan in place. Your article that you wrote it actually references a survey written by JetBrains 2023. It's got 50% of respondents said they're on Java 8. You've already said we're on Java 21. So Java 8 was, I mean, that's got to be, how old would you say?
2014, so
right,
about 10 years old.
Okay, so 50% of respondents are using a Java version that is 10 years old. Security-wise, that as an IT manager, that would really freak me out. But as a developer, does it raise concerns for you as well, or how does it impact? How would that impact you going onto a site, let's say, and looking at working with Java 8 instead of, say, a more recent Java? What goes through your mind in terms of security? Let's just talk about security for a bit.
So yes, I should mention that the most critical patches to Java and to the JDK, they do get backported to older versions of Java as well. Okay. So they will get backported to some update of Java 8, the most important security vulnerability fixes. But you still need to be aware of that, and the least you can do is update your JDK if you refuse to do an upgrade. Of course, the difference between upgrade and update being that upgrade means going up from a major version of Java, one major version of Java to another, and update means staying on the same version of Java but applying a patch, basically. So yes, security-wise, I do hope that companies who, for some reason or another, do not wish to upgrade their JDK above 8, I do hope that they are at least doing regular updates.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And okay, so we talked about risk around security. Let's just talk briefly, before we go on to sort of how to upgrade, let's talk about the opportunities that you get as a developer on a latest version of Java versus an old one. So what sort of opportunities are there for you?
Of course, the reason to upgrade a piece of software, be it a library or the JDK, as we're discussing currently, the main reason for that is access to new features. And with Java, there really have been lots of features that have been coming out lately, especially since 2017. Ever since this is the point in time where Oracle decided to do a predictable release train for Java. So right now, a Java version is coming out 2 times every 6 months, 2 times a year, every September and every March. You get a new version, and a new long-time support version comes out every 2 years. So one of these releases is going to be a long-time support version, if it's been 2 years since the last one.
So can you give me a specific example, Yoana, of a new feature that has recently been released that you actually would use to either make your work better, i.e. I'm talking about more efficient, faster, quicker, some sort of feature where you think it would really affect your delivery capability?
Yes, there are many features since Java 8 which I regularly use, like local variable type inference. That was a big one, like the var keyword, which basically reduces a lot of boilerplate that you need to write. Text blocks are a lifesaver for me. This is a new way to write multi-line strings, which is much more concise and much better than string concatenation. So that's a big one that it looks small, but yeah.
Yeah. Does that make you just more efficient as a developer, or how does it affect you?
Yes, it does make me more efficient knowing about these features. Records are a big one as well. If you work on a project that works with a lot of data, immutable data, I should say. So you take some data from a database, you do some calculations on top of it, then you return a result. You don't change the data. Records are a lifesaver because they reduce boilerplate so much. And yeah, I think features like that, developers do use them. The developers who use a JDK above 8, of course, they do use these features because that's the whole reason they are being implemented by the engineers who develop the JDK, to ease the life of a developer. There have also been other features in the JDK. The most recent one, I think this is a big one, from Java 2021. It's not in preview anymore since Java 21. This is virtual threads. If your business is developing concurrent applications that are supposed to have a very high throughput, definitely check out virtual threads because they are going to be a game changer for you, most likely. Yeah, virtual threads are basically a clever way to utilize a finite resource, which are platform threads. They allow you to use a single platform thread for multiple virtual threads, which can basically piggyback right on a platform thread and do their job sequentially. While one of the threads is blocking, another one can hop on the same platform thread and do its job. So yeah, this is something that will definitely make it.
Was this sort of feature available? Could you have coded this before, i.e. taken longer to do it, or was it just being impossible to do, and this feature allows you to just do so much more? Where does it sit there?
This is a good question because definitely there are things like text blocks, which you could do with string concatenation even before, but virtual threads, you could not do this before. Before Java 21, or I should say Java 19, because virtual threads were in preview back then. But in the past, every thread you use in a Java application was bound to a platform thread, to an operating system thread, which are a finite resource. You cannot have an infinite number of platform threads. So yeah, this feature is something new. I think the idea about it has been around for a while, but it's made it into the official JDK. It's open to be used. Many companies are already utilizing this. I can give an example with Helidon, the microservice platform. They are heavily using virtual threads in their new versions, and they see like major performance improvements in their logic.
Yeah, because of the parallel processing and the ability to use memory in a more efficient way, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really, really interesting. The as a business manager, what I will therefore see is more efficiency. I will see lower cost, lower total cost of ownership, and lower total cost of development because of the way that I'm in this particular case managing memory and getting an increased performance. And all of those do count, especially if you have a complex Java application that is going to be challenged in a performance area. So those are some really interesting opportunities. If you didn't upgrade, then you would just be working, either you couldn't do it or you'd be working really hard to try and get those same performance issues. Before I come on to how you upgrade and a little bit about why people don't, but I think in your paper you mention the motivation of the team and the motivation of developers, which is sometimes sort of overlooked in terms of the technology they use. So can you just talk to me a little bit about the difference between you coming in again and joining a team that's running that's building on Java 8 versus, let's say, a more recent version? How do you feel about that, and what sort of team feedback do you get?
Yeah, this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, being a developer. I should mention that I have been fortunate enough to have worked on projects with a contemporary Java version. Here at STFA, all the projects I've worked on have used a contemporary Java version, obviously because our customers value the gains they get from using a more recent Java version.
Yeah.
But this doesn't mean that, I have been lucky enough, but I do know like colleagues and friends who are stuck with Java 8 or even something before 8, which is wild. But yes, that it happens. But yeah, the morale is different. The satisfaction you get from working on a contemporary Java project is it's much better to do that than to work on something that many people consider legacy. And furthermore, the thing is, developers, or most developers from my experience, they are naturally curious. They want to know what's new in the tech world as a whole. Yeah, you go to a conference or a webinar, and the experts there will talk about the newest Java features, and you will listen to them, and you're going to be like, oh, cool, that's a cool new feature they are bringing in the next JDK. How can I use it? Oh, no, wait, we are still using Java 8 on my project at work, so the only way I can use this on my personal project. So yeah, that's something. Working with a contemporary Java version on a project at work will make developers happy, speaking from experience.
which is great, because if you think about how much time and effort team leads and head of product and program managers, project managers put into team motivation, and all the money they spend on days out and all that sort of thing, which is all great fun, but actually just upgrading your Java version could actually produce quite a motivated team as well. So that's a really useful little tip for everyone there. I think that's great. Okay, so let's talk about how you upgrade then. What's the process, and maybe a little bit about why people don't. Let's start with that. Why don't people upgrade? Companies. What are the main issues?
There's many that we can mention. Some of them include, I think management thinks that upgrading Java will cause will be a very time-consuming process for them. It may bring unnecessary quote-unquote risks. That's something that we hear from management. And I think it depends on your projects and on your architecture and on your dependencies as well. This is something big. If you depend on a library or you have a legacy system in your domain that you cannot replace by any means, then I would say that might be a valid reason for you maybe not to upgrade a specific system unless you have control over that system. If you do, then you should absolutely investigate and see why you might want to stay on the same Java version. But yes, I think that once you start to do it, once you start to investigate your systems, all of your projects that you have, you might actually find out that that the fear you have of doing the upgrade is not actually validated, because you might have a project with very little outside dependencies that doesn't use deprecated APIs from the JDK, and your upgrade might take literal minutes. So yeah, this is not, it highly depends on the projects you have, and I highly recommend that you at least do some sort of high-level analysis on your projects before automatically saying, oh no, it's very risky, it will take much time to do this.
So analysis is the first step, just to understand where you are and the changes that need to be made. Is that a big piece of work, or how would you approach that?
Again, it depends on many things. Like if you have a microservice architecture with many microservices, the analysis of the separate microservices, it could be fairly quick, especially if they are truly microservices and they are small. The analysis will not take that much at all per service. However, if you are running a huge monolith, then it might actually take some more time. However, just looking at it will not be very beneficial to you. The best type of analysis here, I think, is kind of try to upgrade the version. I mean, locally, you don't need to undertake this huge migration project, but maybe a developer can look into your project and try to upgrade the Java version. Just see what breaks and see what dependencies you have. I think this is the main thing here. If you have a dependency that you have no control over, that you cannot upgrade, then you can stop right there and at that first analysis step, and maybe wait for the vendor to update their code base to be more up to date with more recent Java versions.
That's great. So I'm going to make a quick offer to everybody listening at the moment. If you'd like a little bit of advice from us in terms of whether to upgrade, whether it's worth it, also how to approach it, then could you direct message me and I'll set something up, maybe an hour initial sort of chat at no cost. Just come to me. We'll have a chat about it, and we'll give you some advice in terms of upgrading Java and the opportunities and risks that you have. That would be great. So thanks, Yoana. That's really useful. Let's move on to the sort of future a little bit. We've talked about upgrading and some of the benefits. You mentioned in your paper leveraging AI, and AI is such a hot topic at the moment because of ChatGPT and the other LLMs that are available. But you've mentioned Amazon Q code transformation in your paper. Can you just talk to me a little bit about Java and Amazon Q?
Yes, there are many tools that you can utilize for upgrading your JDK. Some of them are basically static tools, like the Java deprecated API scanner. IBM also has a migration toolkit that you can use. It's been around for a while. But yeah, these are like the old style of tools you would use to undertake a Java migration. There's also another tool I recently found out about called Open Rewrite. It basically creates something that they call recipes for migrating from a previous Java version to the next one, or to whichever you want. Yeah, but these are not powered by AI. They do help though. Open Rewrite, I think a lot of people use it and are happy with the results. But with AI being the huge buzzword these days, it's no wonder that giants like Amazon have started looking into this, have invested basically a team to develop a tool, an AI powered tool for you to migrate from a previous JDK to an upper one. Yeah, Amazon Q code transformation. It's part of the Amazon's Code Whisperer suite.
Okay.
And it does use some rule-based techniques for migrating Java, because there are these very static rules that you can set. Like if you see a dependency with a version number of something, then upgrade it to the version number of something, which supports the Java version you want to migrate to. But they also use LLM-based techniques to help you with code migration. Yeah, they have basically trained their model on different projects that have been migrated already. So that's the knowledge base, and like other sources as well. They have trained their knowledge base on that. And yes, it can help you. It's still in preview as of recording this, but you can go and click around, check it out. We also have an article on this. A colleague at Estafade has created a paper with his experiences of using the Amazon Q code transformation tool. It looks like they have a few bugs to iron out, especially with their add-on for IntelliJ. As far as I understand, the Visual Studio Code add-on works okay, but the one on IntelliJ, which is basically the go-to IDE for Java projects, I guess it has some problems, but I'm sure they will iron them out before the tool gets out of preview. But yes, it helps immensely. It updates your dependencies, removes the deprecated, replaces deprecated code you might be using from previous JDKs. It replaces it with the replacement that the engineers at JDK have suggested. And yeah, these tools, the internal results at Amazon for Amazon Q code transformation, they are very, very impressive. I think 5 engineers managed to migrate 1,000 apps in 2 days, I think, something like that, which is absolutely wild. It's they said something like 10 minutes per app, that sounds amazing, actually.
That's absolutely brilliant. So there are tools to help. There's companies like ourselves to help. So in some respects, upgrading Java has never been easier. With Estafade and all these other tools around, plenty of help. Yoana, that's absolutely fantastic. We have talked a lot of and in quite technical detail about Java and the reasons for upgrade. Your article is available, and the other article that you mentioned by Antonio is also available, and we'll put links in those on the publication of this podcast and on our website at estafade.com. Thanks very much. That's absolutely fantastic. You've given us a great amount of information. And to those listening, if you do want to get in touch, please direct message me, and we'd be very happy to spend an hour with you and your technical team discussing Java upgrades and some of the reasons to do it and the opportunities you can then take advantage of. Yoana, thank you. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. Great to speak to you. Thanks, everybody, and we'll be speaking to you soon. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.